You guys, we can't have a Boston Dallas Mavericks series. That would throw us back into Jim Crow. Like, it would be a problem. Could you imagine a Boston versus Dallas Mavericks series? It would be the whitest NBA Finals of all time. Like, easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Bench Mob, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rip a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. I taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They playing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tuning now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. Miles, you was really. I'm telling you.
Bench Mob Podcast. What's up, bro?
Yeah. Welcome back to the Bench Mob Ent. We are back for another episode. You know this is on YouTube. It's on all sharing platforms. Thank y'all for those that are viewing in. Thank y'all for those that are listening. Subscribe, rate it 5 stars, leave us a review, share it with a friend. Greg, Mr. Hot Takes, Debate Your Mother Sins Mir is in the building tonight. And how you living, my guy?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm ready to get into it. I'm glad to have Miles back. He had a suspicious injury last week.
Suspicious.
They're suspicious. I don't know. We have reason to believe that there was a case of fraud going on. Well, we will see.
Wow.
Miles, first class, Davenport.
First class.
How you living?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Hey, yo, for those that just saw that, bro, I could sing too. I'm talented like that. I hit that note.
I was about to say, if it was an auto-tune, that might be a smash hit right now.
Exactly, yo. Hey, Jack, Druski, come talk to the kid, bro. I'm out here. I'm really get me in the studio.
Maybe Druski produced his last album. That's why it was so bad.
That's what we started with. Okay. I've been out for 2+ weeks. Everybody's had their opinion on it. We started just because Miles is back. We started with that.
All right, we're getting right into it. All right.
Oh man. Speaking of, since we mentioned people choking and not living up to expectations, CP3.
All right.
Hey, Greg.
I can only imagine what last week was like.
When you were talk about it like that, we all agreed that since we all agreed the album wasn't good, we weren't going to talk about it. Basically, we only wanted to talk about it if you were here because you were the one who said you liked 8 out of 15 songs, something crazy like that. I
didn't say they were smash hits, but I'm saying these are cool. These are smooth tracks.
These are cool.
It's funny. It's funny though, because I was playing golf yesterday up in like Warren, New Jersey, and I get there and I'm thinking I'm playing by myself, but they end up sending me out with these 3 kids. I mean, just came home from college, and one of the kids has on his speaker, he's playing the album, the Jack album. So I'm like, oh shit, these white kids. These white kids are playing this music. I'm like, damn.
I told you.
Maybe I need to rethink.
I told you. That's his demographic, bro.
I was like, yo, is this real? Like, he's listening to every song on the album. They were cool, but
that's what the Jack album's
for a
for.
second, I was gonna ask them like, yo, y'all heard the new Kendrick Lamar album? But I was like, nah, don't even do that. It's not worth it.
That's who the album's for, bro. The album's for those frat brothers. It's the Zig Alpha Apple Sigma chicken pie. It's them, bro. It's for those guys. That's who it's for.
I'm glad you ended it off like that because you know how them letters people get. If you said an actual Greek letter, I'd have been like, man, gotta post it so we go viral. Any publicity is good publicity.
F all that Greek stuff, bro. I ain't even gotta get into that. That's a different day. That's a conversation for a different day.
I'm of the same.
That Greek stuff they be on.
I'm of the same energy for that. You could shimmy shake somewhere else, bro, and Q dog yourself out of here, bro. Like you go do that somewhere else. But back to the topic.
Let me not be canceled. Just change the subject.
Right. You can't come to any Juneteenth picnics this year. That's it.
Is that all they do with the Juneteenth stuff for real?
No.
What? Oh, but yeah, I wouldn't be allowed back. A lot of these people take that shit real serious. I know how it go.
Big time serious. But like back to the topic at hand of people not living up to expectation. The Suns, best record all year, the best team. They gonna walk through the West and get to the finals. Game 7, they lose. They out of finals. Right now we're watching Mavericks against Phoenix. Mavericks against the Warriors. It was supposed to be Phoenix Warriors. Didn't happen. Who's this more on? Y'all putting this on CP3. Y'all putting this on D-Book. Y'all putting this on Coach Monty Williams. Who is this debacle on?
I feel like it's got to be a collective. They got to take this one. Like Monty's got to take this one. Chris Paul's got to take it. D-Book. Like you're up 2-0 against the Mavs. You're doing what you're supposed to. Took 2 at home. Went back to Dallas. You lost those 2, but then you took Game 5. So, I mean, you're guaranteeing yourself a game back home, which they got. They got Game 7. Crowd was pumped. They came out super flat, and it just looked like they were playing tight. Like D-Book didn't look like himself. CP3 didn't look like himself. And while they played tight, looked like the Mavs were just playing super loose. Luka was having fun, and they just let this game get away from them. And this is back-to-back years they're out of the playoffs after being up 2-0 in a series. So, I mean, they got to do a lot of soul searching now because Chris Paul's getting up in age. Like, he's not getting any younger. He's about to be 38 next year. So this is one of those things where I know they paid him. They brought him back because, I mean, they think they can win a championship in the time that his contract's going on. But, I mean, D-Book, he's got to take that next step too because he's got to – I mean, as much as people talk about Chris Paul leading this team, D-Book's been here. People talk about him on that superstar level, but if you're a superstar, you can't put up a Game 7 like that. Like he was a non-factor all game. Like no shots were going in. It was very unlike D-Book. So if anybody has to take the blame, I'd say it's D-Book. It's your young superstar.
Hey man,
I agree with that. I agree that they're gonna have to really look at things differently with this CP3 situation. At the end of the day, like you said, he's turning 38. With how CP3 played these last couple of years in the playoffs, he might have to go back to meat because plant-based ain't working by the time it gets to the Western Conference Finals, by the time it gets to the NBA Finals, second round. Something not adding up. And it might just be, like you said, he'd probably be 38. You can't be relying on Chris Paul to be the best player on your team to try to win a championship.
I think this is a lesson in enjoying the ride when you're good, and you're a good team like the Suns were. You enjoy the ride, you enjoy the journey, right? Every team that's good does. The Warriors were arrogant. There's an arrogance to really good teams in the NBA. But the Suns all year struck me as a team that was over, and me and Tone have talked about this on the side. The Suns have struck me as a team that were overconfident all season long. And it was just boiling up to this point. like campaign going on Twitter Spaces in the middle of the season talking trash about the Lakers, out of character. But really, like you're just a guy in the NBA, like not really what you should be doing. Mikal Bridges, booked out of character, talking crazy to people. Obviously, CP has had that energy for people around the NBA. He talks trash, but like there was a different energy with this team of definitely an over cockiness with this team that came back to bite them at the end of the day. They're a young group. And when you lose your humility along the way, it can become a problem for you. So I think that's where they really tripped up. In my opinion, they should have took care of Dallas. But I was really nervous about that series. And I told you guys when it started, I was just nervous about it. I'm like, I don't know, Luka's great to begin with. And you're gonna poke the bear. If you're gonna start talking too much trash, you're gonna really get a guy, you're gonna motivate a guy who's already great to give him another reason to kick your behind. He already wants to go do that. He's gonna do that regardless. Whether they win the series or not, Luka's gonna go crazy. But like when you give him a reason, I mean, Luka's a guy who went out and busted the behinds of Pandemic P, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard. That's what he did. Like he did that. He got him up out of here. So what made anyone think that he wasn't going to do the same thing to Mikal Bridges and the same thing to Chris Paul? I mean, come on, or D Booker. You know, like it's tough. It's tough, but I'm not surprised that it ended the way it did. To Antonio's point, yeah, I mean, we're well past the point now where, first of all, Chris Paul shouldn't even be looked at as the best player on your team. Like you shouldn't be trying to win a championship with Chris Paul as the best player on your team. But if we're saying that, if we're having that conversation, it's more of an indictment on Devin Booker. That's the way I see it. Devin Booker's got to be better. Mm-hmm. He's got to be better. And he's got to be better by getting guys involved and hitting the open man and getting guys and putting the ball in position, putting guys in position to be better, right? That's got to be where he takes the next step. And he can do that. He's a young player. But, yeah, bro, I think that it's a collective thing for sure.
When you look at it, right, with this Phoenix team how they're currently constructed, and a CP3 ran team is heavy CP3, and I'm gonna control the game from beginning to the end. The thing is, which creates an issue, being that he's going on 38, it doesn't give room for anybody else to be playmakers. It doesn't give room for anybody else to get busy like that. So they need to change this up. When you got a CP3-led team like that, you get a DeAndre Ayton who's pissed off that he's not getting touches. And Ayton, at this point, you play him 17 minutes in a closeout game, Ayton probably not coming back. So if Ayton doesn't come back, I already was saying the best chance for them to win was last year. If Ayton don't come back, bruh, break this whole thing up. If Ayton does not come back, Phoenix needs to break this up, start from ground up, keep D-Book there, Mikal Bridges, and retool this whole thing. Because you look at the West, you got next year, everybody's favorite, Jokic, he's getting some help next season coming back. It's expected Golden State should be good again. We see what Dallas is doing. Memphis is here. No, it's no longer Memphis is here. Memphis is here. If Ja Morant stays healthy, obviously, Memphis is here. You got Kawhi, PG-13 coming back. Clippers going to be in the mix. Nah. Phoenix, they better keep Ayton and figure something else out. It can't just be CP3 is the only playmaker. Ain't going to happen. Not at 30.
Do you think they keep Ayton when he benches Ayton for the final 17 minutes of the game? And then Monty, and they asked Monty about it after the game. Monty goes, it's internal. Do you think it's likely they're keeping a guy? And do you think it's even likely that a guy like Ayton wants to stay? I know he's restricted. He's a restricted free agent. I get it. But I believe so anyways. But like I said, like I think on both sides, I think it's going to be a mutual split. I think they're probably going to want to get him up out of there. They're probably going to try to do a sign and trade to get more wing defenders and other guys they can use. I think Ayton's valuable to what they do, but I think they undervalue him a bit. They may not see it that way internally.
They could have had Luka too. That's what,
I mean, yeah, that's a whole
sucks about this whole thing is that they took him, they didn't actually sign him to his rookie max extension, and now they have to deal with this. And now a team can come and overpay him in restricted free agency, and now it backs you into a corner. Like, we want him back, but that might not be the number that we want him back. So now you got to make a choice.
Right.
This could have been solved at the beginning of the season, but now Now they're in a corner.
But do you think they want him back? Is the question. I think that's
But
the real question. That's myself.
Like you just said, Greg, though, you can't play this man 17 minutes like that. You feel me? And then expect when it comes to that is going to work out. Miles, like they said, money going to overpay. They're going to send that, hey, we want him for 4 years, 138 minutes, some crazy number. Phoenix ain't going to want to do it. And you're not going to get nothing from it. This is a lose-lose for Phoenix because even if nobody wants to do a max contract or crazy offer and he comes back to Phoenix, it's not going to work. You'll have to trade him. You can't do that. This is back-to-back seasons where he feels he's unused, he's not used properly, and this is solely because, if we really be honest, he gets all this love. He's the point god. It's because CP3, bro. CP3 never has a big that is a traditional big that can go get a bucket. He only wants rim runners, pick and pop, pick and roll. That's it. Ayton's talking about, give me some touches. I have mismatches, and Dallas is not a big team. They did not give him the ball on those mismatches oftentimes. This is CP3 ran offense. This is how CP3 do it.
You think this series is different if they have a point guard like a Kyrie or a Steph, one that's more score first than someone like a CP3 who he's your more traditional point guard who, can run the offense. But when you need him to really go get a bucket every time, he doesn't really do that. Like he's had moments where he's done it, like game 1, game 2 of this series, but he doesn't have moments like that often. He kind of faded off as the series went on, whether he was hurt or not, but it's kind of been the story of, I don't want to say his career, but how the playoffs have gone for him.
I don't know. I don't know that, that it'd be different if they had a player like Kyrie and a score first point guard per se with Phoenix in this series. I think mainly a bigger body point guard may have been what the difference would have been. I think CP is just small. And Luka is huge, and they were hunting him in mismatches. You got to think about it. The Dallas Mavericks' 3 main scoring options are all big physical guys. Spencer Dinwiddie, when he was going in the series, and he wasn't, he didn't have it going much, but when he did, he'd hunt him in a mismatch. You'd have Jalen Brunson, who's not physically, he's not tall, but he's big, and he plays bigger than he is. He plays in the post, out of the post primarily to get his buckets. And then obviously Luka. When those guys put a shoulder in your chest and you're CP3 6 foot 205, you're flying back. And that's just a physical stature thing. I don't think that's necessarily I think over the series they wore him down. I think physicality can wear a guy down over the series. I think you start to see it, you start to play with his offense and how he's missing shots short. He's tired. These guys are putting all their weight on him. He's hanging in there in the post, but he has no leverage. When Luka puts a shoulder into you, he backed down DeAndre Ayton. He backed down DeAndre Ayton. We did him to the CP3. That's what he's barbecue chicken too. So I think they wore him down physically. That was the game plan. Let's wear these guys out. Let's wear D Booker out. Let's wear CP3 out on the defensive end. Make them play defense so their offense suffers. That's what Jason Kidd did. And by the way, that's an old school approach to the game. And it's smart because that's my dad always said it to me growing up. When there was a really good offensive player we were playing against, it was always, let's go at him. Make him slide his feet. Go at him. So that way when he's on offense, he's tired. It was no different. Jason Kidd did an amazing job, and he did it by just sticking to the basics. He didn't coach him on. He didn't do no crazy X and O stuff. He wasn't a nerd. No, he's a basketball dude, and he understands the intricate parts of the game. I make you play defense. Offense is a lot harder for you. You got dead legs, and that's what happened to CP3. I think that's really what happened. If you ask me, they just wore him out by putting that shoulder in his chest all game long and hunting him and hunting Devin Booker. They hunted the best players in the team. Not something you can always do, but they did that well. And that's why you saw what you saw from him.
Looking at this next series, so Mavs advance in Luka's 4th year, right? Luka's 4th year. He advances. They play Golden State. Golden State is on right now. They are waxing Golden State. Does Dallas have a shot in this series, or is it Golden State whether it's 5, 6, 7, Golden State is winning this series.
You got to get them to play at their own pace. Like if they're playing at the Warriors' pace, then this is going to be a long series. Because I mean, Draymond already knows. Let's get them running, get those pick and rolls running. Like Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, we got shooters. So that's how the Warriors operate. The Mavs, they don't necessarily want to get up and down like that. They want to get you in the half court, couple pick and rolls, let Luka play make, and let Brunson work every once in a while. So, I mean, this is not a good matchup for the Mavs in that sense. And I mean, if I'm the Warriors, I'm getting Luka running and working on offense. You got to get him to work over those picks and get him in the pick and roll more often. So he's a little more exhausted on offense because, I mean, Luka's really good, but this Warriors team, they've been here. They've been around the block. So they know what to do and how to dictate you playing at our pace.
To Miles' point, as I watch them beat up on the Mavs right now, the Warriors are a motion offense team. So we're gonna talk pure basketball. Like, what you gotta do, it seems like the Warriors just limit them to one shot every possession. You gotta box out. You gotta switch everything. And again, biggest thing, switch everything effectively. You got to have a hand up and you got to box out and get every rebound. You got to limit them to one shot of possession because then it allows you to play at your pace. Now you're bringing it down the court. You let Luka go up real slow and deliberate, find his matchup, dribble 50 times, get to his post up fade, get to whatever you want to get to, find the open shooters. That's how you do it. Like, but if they're gonna get 50 shots in a possession, now obviously, you know, I think it's one of those field out games. You know, the Warriors are playing at a different pace. It's a field out game. I think the Mavs do have a chance. I think the Mavs really do have a chance in this series. I think the Mavs can win this series. It wouldn't surprise me if they won this series, to be quite frank. Eventually, they're going to start going at Steph. The series is going to change. Just my opinion. I think eventually they're going to start hunting Steph. They're going to hunt Klay on the bad leg, whatever situation is. I know he's healthy, but he's not the same guy. He's not spry anymore. I think they're going to go after him. They're going to hunt him too in matchups, and they're going to make those guys play defense. And then eventually what you're going to start seeing is Steph start to struggle in the series, hitting threes. He's going to start missing some threes. Same type of deal. Now, the Warriors are a good enough team to overcome that, and they can still beat them. But I think you're going to have a 6-7 game series at least. I think when they get to Dallas, the series is going to flip a bit, just like it did last time, because I think that's what they're going to end up doing. This is a series that's primed to be a long one. I don't think that the Warriors are immune to losing this series at all. I think that Dallas could get them up out of here. Don't get it twisted. But if you're going to go off this one game, for sure, it looks bad. But I would caution everybody to start running to their bookie. Oh, excuse me, that was back in 2009. Running to wherever the hell they run to bet these days, or the local corner store, their bodega, and putting money on the Warriors, because I think that this thing is gonna be a knockdown, drag it out series. I think they're gonna make some adjustments. They're gonna go after Steph, and I would too. If I was playing Steph today, I go after him. I go at him right now. That's what I'm telling you right now. I go at him. Miles laughing. Antonio, tell him, bro. He tried to play me, bro. He hit me in the on my story talking about some you who. Miles, come find out, bro. Come find out.
I bet. Let me find my basketball shoes.
I'm gonna have you tired. I'm tired. You're gonna be tired as hell, bro. You gonna like CP3 out there. All these guys.
I really think it's Golden State's series to lose. Golden State's been here, the experience. I think what's going to come in handy too is Steve Kerr experience, and I feel Steve Kerr's going to outcoach Jason Kidd in this regard. What you mentioned, you kind of alluded to it. Last series, it was kind of just an old school style. It wasn't a lot of X's and O's. We're just going to get y'all tired. We're going to beat y'all this type of way. I don't think Jason Kidd is a better coach than Kerr, and I think Kerr, Mike Brown, they're gonna whip something up where it's gonna be a little bit of a hard time for Luka. Luka gonna get his points, he gonna get his buckets, he gonna get his stats, but it's not gonna be easy. So I'm not gonna go to the extent of saying it's gonna be a sweep. It's gonna be a gentleman's sweep, but I'd say probably 6, Golden State and 6. Just because off the strength of his Luka. You got to give respect to Luka and what he's been able to do. Jalen Brunson getting paid. Spencer seems like he's rejuvenated. And then you got everybody else stepping up. So the way Golden State is, though, The only concern I have is Steph don't look good, bro. Steph does not look good. He starts off the game like 1 for 5 from the free throw line, not threes. Free throw line. His shots aren't falling down from the three. Clay is struggling. I'd say this. They get out this series. If they see Miami or Boston, it's Miami or Boston. It's Miami or Boston series to lose when it comes to the finals. Because Golden State don't look like, you feel me, like that championship Golden State. They just got the IQ, and they're better than the teams, and they've been here before, so they're going to be able to beat them. You got Steve Kerr coaching. They got the championship DNA. The thing is, them young bulls over there, Boston, those dogs over in Miami, yeah, I'm taking the East. East is back. That's the best conference. The East is back. Y'all think Boston or Miami gets to the finals? Miami put a smack in. Jimmy Butler, what is it, 40 piece? 41 piece? I'm not going to go as far as say Miami, though. I think Boston. That's just me. I can't see Jimmy getting 41 3 more times.
I think they can get it from numerous sources, Miami. I think Miami got a lot of ways they can hurt you. But I mean, the Bucks. My pipe dream is gone. The Boston could certainly get to the finals. They could. I mean, it's a coin flip series. Okay, so if you're gonna pick Boston, I ain't got no argument for anybody to pick the Boston. It's that close. It's gonna be a 7-game series. I'm gonna take Jimmy Butler. I'm gonna take Bam. I'm gonna take. I don't know if Kyle Lowry will come back at some point in the series. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'll take those guys wearing them down eventually. I think that they're going to wear those guys down. They played a really hard series against the Bucks. Like, for real, that's a tough series to come out of and go to Miami and play that physical basketball team. They're going to test you again. So I'll take Miami in a 7-game series. But if someone told me Boston, I'm not going to. I know it's a lazy response. And not the amazing analysis you come here for. You're used to from me particularly. But at the end of the day, I think that Miami will win the series, and for no other reason than the fact that I think that they're going to be extremely physical. They're like, and Jimmy said it. Jimmy said, "I don't want to even take threes. I want to run into these guys over and over and over and see who falls first." That's probably the way you want to play. If you want to out physical that team, you do. Like, the defense they play, you want to force these refs to call fouls because the Boston is fouling. But it's not so obvious they're going to always call every single one. So you've got to make it obvious. You got to seek out contact as the offensive player. It's genius. I think they're going to wear them down. I think they're going to get a line a ton in the series. You're going to see the Boston in a lot of foul trouble throughout the series. I think that they're going to be super aggressive defensively as well. And they're going to try to play off of the fatigue that Boston has over the course of the series. So I'm taking Miami. And also I'm taking Miami because we can't have a Boston Dallas Maverick series. That would throw us back into Jim Crow. Like, it would be a problem. Could you imagine a Boston versus Dallas Maverick series? It would be the whitest NBA finals of all time. Like, easily. It can't happen. It can't happen. It would send us back to Jim Crow. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, that would be a big deal. You ain't seen every white person I know. Oh, Luka's so good. Luka's this. Guys, we're headed toward a dark time. You're headed toward a dark time. Don't stay woke. It ain't a coincidence that it got real dicey up in Buffalo. God rest everybody's soul. And then we talking about in the NBA Finals, we got Boston winning it all. Oh my God, it would be a problem. Jeez, Fox News parades. Think about the worst case scenario. It'd be mad. This could be a crazy. What's the dude's name? The director Peele. What's it?
Oh, Jordan.
What am I talking about?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. It'd be a crazy movie. He should have made a movie about the whitest finals of all time. Boston versus Dallas. It'd be my worst nightmare. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, Miles, who you got? Now, Marcus Smart, Al Horford did not play game 1. That's what I'm banking on. That they come back and this is a different team.
Yeah, I agree. I think those two players are huge. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, he would definitely change how things went. I mean, if you look at it, the Celtics really only lost one quarter, and they lost that third quarter big. Like it was almost 40-14 in that quarter. So you can't have too many of those, and I don't think they will have too many of those. But they need Al Horford to come back. He helps with their defense and another guy who can hit open threes and space the floor out for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But I don't know, man. Something about this Heat team. I've been saying it. I think they're the best team left in the playoffs just because this team is so deep. Like you see Kyle Lowry's out, but they're not missing a beat with Gabe Vincent. He's still giving you good minutes. You got Max Strus. Even Tyler Herro had a decent game in game one. So, I mean, you got a lot of pieces to deal with. Well, why are you making that face?
Even Tyler Herro. Even. What do you mean even Tyler Herro?
He had an awful series in the last one. So don't make that face like he been balling out of his mind in the playoffs.
Can you just admit that Tyler Herro was really good at basketball and leave it alone, bro? Like, what is with you in this warpath about Tyler Herro? What's with Knicks fans in this warpath about Tyler Herro?
Yo,
It really goes back to RJ Barrett, doesn't it?
There's no reason for us to even go there because that's not where I was heading.
Nah, that's where you were headed, bro. I read this.
No.
I read them.
No. Go look up his stats from the last series. I want to know. I want to know how good he played, how good Tyler Herro was playing.
Okay, he may not play the best basketball in that series, but he's a damn good basketball player. He's a very, very good basketball player.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Said what?
Nobody said that he's not a good basketball player.
When you say even Tyler Herro played well, it insinuates that he's like, that's not the norm. Like, why we don't expect that from that guy. So I don't understand the disrespect for Tyler Herro. Why are we talking crazy?
Well, when we're going off of what he showed in the last series where he was a defensive liability and hit no shots, then what are we doing? Like, this is a guy who's up for a max contract in the offseason, and he's going to get it, but you got to perform in the playoffs. He didn't perform last series, but they won in spite of him because they played the Philadelphia 76ers with two hands tied on their backs.
Are they paying him to be the number one guy? Are they paying him the money to be the number one guy? Is that an expectation?
They're not paying him to score like 12 points and shout 30% from.
You know damn well he's not doing that most of the time. They're paying him for exactly what he brings to the table. He's going to come in and be an elite microwave guy. And if that's what his role is in the NBA, he's going to max it out. He's going to be the damn best microwave guy there is in the NBA. All right? So you want to pay him that money because you know what he brings to the table 9 times out of 10. You know what he is. Everyone knows he's a killer, okay? He's a killer. He's going to get a bucket, okay? He may not have got to it last series, fine. He may be a defensive liability, okay. But you know what is? He's really good at what he does.
You're right. Even he had a good game on Tuesday.
Huh?
Even he had a good game on Tuesday. So
you see,
Strus has been playing better than him in the playoffs.
Let me tell you what this is for every listener. Miles is mad that this guy's better than RJ Barrett. It comes from a place
what world am I mad about that?
I would be mad too.
It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't. Yeah, you see, that's what hurt people say. It's like when the girl says it doesn't matter.
People say
it doesn't matter to me. It's the same thing. It's no different, guys. This is what's happening right now. I just want y'all to understand. This is what Miles is going through. I understand. I'd be mad as hell too. I'd be mad because I picked the guy number 3 overall, and my guy's now on nothing. Meanwhile, everybody ahead of him and people behind him is playing great. I get it. Don't worry. Because we ain't talking about, we're not talking about paying RJ a max contract. That's what we're not talking about.
Which is fine.
It's not fine, though. It's not okay. And it's okay. Then, I'm going to tell you what white people tell you. I had a bunch of white people this week telling me the same thing. I'll tell you the same thing.
Are we talking about the playoffs or are we talking about?
Let me tell you. It's okay to not be okay. It's white people's favorite new thing to say when stuff goes left for black folk. It's okay to not be okay. So I'm going to tell you the same thing, Miles. It's okay to not be okay.
Okay. I'm fine with RJ. My boy played great in the second half of the season. So if we're going there, I don't need to.
How is he finishing on the basket?
All right, now.
How was that? How did that look?
TikTok Greg bringing up old points. All right.
Old points. They're old. It was this season.
Yo, just wait until next year. That's all I'll say.
My God, it's always the Knicks fan just always wait till next year. Hey, where y'all drafting this year? How'd that go? I didn't see it. I missed it. I'm not aware.
They're not using that.
No.
They got the 11th pick. They're not using that.
Oh hell! Why do you do this to yourself?
Quick sidebar, right? So you mentioned money. Tyler Herro getting money. Tyler Herro getting paid. Max contract coming up. Max Strus balling out. Gabe Vincent balling out. With those two specifically balling out like that, do they even need Duncan Robinson anymore?
Not really. But, I mean, he's a good shooter in this league. But, like Tyler Herro, he's a liability on defense. Just, Tyler Herro's a much better player, Greg. So, this is one of those things where, they paid him because he's a good shooter, but with Strus balling, he's kind of made Duncan Robinson irrelevant. Like, he doesn't even play anymore. Like, Strus can hit an open shot. He can get it off the dribble. And this is a guy who's like a D2 guy. So, Miami just finds these guys out of nowhere. So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to get for Duncan Robinson if it comes to that, but they got a lot of things to think about, especially with Donovan Mitchell up for grabs this offseason. I know the Heat are going to be looking into that.
There's be a lot of teams looking at Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, they're going to send Tyler Herro's ass over there. So
yeah, all right. You see, what would be more reasonable if you guys traded RJ Barrett? Finally came up with this RJ Barrett pipe thing. That's not going to happen.
We're not even talking about it, but
no, I'm just letting you know because would you trade RJ Barrett for Donovan Mitchell right now? Just answer the question. We'll get off RJ Barrett. I just want you to know. I want people to hear this stupidity. Would you trade RJ Barrett in a deal? Would you include him in a deal for Donovan Mitchell right now? Would you?
No.
No? Okay. The stupidity I was referring to right there, folks. Anyway, that is ridiculous. Makes no sense. But I'll say this to get on your point. Max Strus is really booted Duncan Robinson up out of there. They found a cheaper version of what he does who plays better defense. That's what happened. So we'll see what it is. But Duncan Robinson will not be the center of a package to require Donovan Mitchell, and he'll be a throw-in. Okay, that guy's he's going to cost you a lot of money. He's not the best defender, but he's a great shooter. I'm sure some team eventually will make a deal for him, but they're not going to get much in return for him because of that contract. Let's just be honest. All right, like that's where we're at with it.
You got to add a pick to that.
Yeah, but it won't.
What, 4 years, 90 mil?
Yeah, it's something crazy. And that's true. That probably will happen. But I'm saying, like, for a Donovan Mitchell deal, it's going to be a totally different nucleus. They're going to give up something real for him if they do it. It'll be real. Like just like Knicks fans, and again, just my advice, like to Knicks fans in Donovan Mitchell sweepstakes, be ready to give up anything because what y'all got ain't that good anyways. Y'all ain't got nothing, so you might as well give up everything to get something. You got to do that. That's the way basketball works. Okay, that's the way life works. Okay, you need to give up an asset to get an asset. Okay, you can't just give up ass and expect an asset back in return. You got to give up an asset to get an asset back. Okay, that's the way it works. Don't give up ass and expect an asset. You have to give up an asset to get an asset. Okay, so RJ Barrett I'll use it loosely, is an asset, loosely. More ass than set. But you may wanna think about including him in a deal for Donovan Mitchell. Brighten up your future, man. There's better days ahead.
Yeah, before we transition, right? So you mentioned the draft lottery. Orlando Magic got the number 1 overall pick. We put up the poll. I want to hear from y'all. A great poll because we're getting all different types of answers, whether it's Chet, whether it's Jabari. Who would y'all take that would be a good fit with Orlando? Or does Orlando just choose the best player? Because at this point, also with Orlando Magic, they got about 27 guards there.
You got to take Paolo, I think. I think you got to take best player. And right now he's NBA ready. I think he doesn't have the most upside out of those 3 guys that we're talking about at the top, but I like him to translate to the game right away and help that team. Like you can't try to draft all these projects and be like, oh, we can develop him into what he could be. Because, that's what the Magic do. They drafted Jonathan Isaac, who hasn't played in 2 years, who everybody talks about is going to be this good player, but he's been out for so long. They've drafted the kid from Michigan last year, who he's going to be good. Franz Wagner.
Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player. So they've got something to go against, to moving forward, but they need to draft best player available over fit at this point. Because, I mean, if you draft fit right now and then things don't work out and, you know, they passed on Paolo and he ends up being like a 25-point scorer somewhere else, then you're like, oh, shoot, maybe we should have taken that guy number one instead of drafting, because we have power forwards or small forwards in that position. So if I'm them, I'm leaning towards Paolo, but I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they took Jabari.
I think you take best player available if you're Orlando, because their real issue and the real position of need, in my opinion, is a point guard of the future. I don't know if you have one. Jalen Suggs is young. I don't want to dig him a grave too early. He could come back and be great next year and have a breakout season. So I hope that happens. But they need that position to be figured out. But out of the guys available, I think Paolo is the safest pick. I think the pick with the most upside is Chet. Chet's the guy who excites me the most when I watch Chet. I get more excited about him. The defensive versatility, his ability to slide on the perimeter and block shots, like really make an impact at the rim. I think that's the guy that excites me. And offensively, just a unicorn. Reminiscent of he's not Kristaps Porzingis. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear from people it's lazy. He's not Kristaps Porzingis. He's better. He's a better prospect coming out. He's got a tighter handle. He's got a guard handle, but he can also shoot the ball. He's really, really good shooter. He can score pretty much anywhere on the court. He's talented. He's really talented. He's the guy that excites me the most. And then Jabari is really talented too. I think Jabari ultimately goes third. I think either Paolo or Chet go first, and I think that Jabari goes third. I think that the player that I think was likely to happen is that OKC takes a guy like Chet because he fits the player profile over there. They got that guy Poku over there, and they really on that European wave over there. They like those guys. I think that they're more likely, and not that Chet's European, but just the build of that player, right? I think the tall, athletic, lanky. They went Josh Giddey last year. You know, they're going with really versatile pieces that are taller guys that can put the ball on the floor, pass, and shoot. All their guys can do that between Giddey, between him, Shai Alexander, all of them, right? Poku, another guy, Lou Dort. Like, they have a bunch of playmakers on the floor. So I think that he fits what OKC's trying to build better than Paolo does. I think Paolo's a likely pick for Orlando, even though I think it's the safer pick. I don't know that it's the right one. I have reservations about Paolo. I do, from watching him in college. I'm not sold. I think he's going to be a damn good NBA pro. He'll be solid, and he won't let you down. He's going to be a 4. He's built for tough. He's going to be a Toyota. He's going to be a Toyota. They never break down. Cheap parts. You fix them easy. It'll be nice. But I think that you got a Range Rover in Chet. I think Chet could be that guy for real. I think Chet could be like a real problem in the NBA for a long time, as long as he stays healthy. He's a guy I'd go with number 1, but I don't think they will. I got Miles thinking face right now. He's thinking hard about what I'm talking about.
How?
Think about it.
I like Chet, but I don't think he should be the number 1 pick. I just think that we'll see how his body develops over the years, because he's real lanky. It looks like I don't know how he'd be if he puts on 30, 40 pounds, because that's what he needs. He looks like he needs some milk. He's real light. He's real light on the court. So I think once he gets to the league, and he's talking big talk right now, but I think once he gets to the league, those bodies are going to wear him out. And let's see. I mean, he looks like he can handle it, but at the same time, if you're going up against like DeAndre Ayton's and other big men who are more solid than you, you're going to be in foul trouble a lot.
I wouldn't use him that way. I wouldn't have him in the post dealing with big men. I'd match him I'd put him at the 3. Basketball's positionless. He is a huge 3, or and a big 2. I think that's what he is. I don't think he's a 4, even though he could play that theoretically. You got to go 5 out with him. 5 out. You're not playing through the post. You play 5 out, drive and kick offense, let him work. That's how you do it. Use him the right way. The real reason why Kristaps Porzingis failed in the NBA is because he was used the wrong way, in my opinion. I never would have him.
Always hurt. That's the other reason. I mean,
he got hurt because you were playing him in the post and you're banging around these big dudes. Yeah, it's gonna take a toll on your body. I think you use them, you space the floor out, you go 5 out. I don't want you hosting up. No. I want you playing on the perimeter. Play on the perimeter because that's where your game's oriented. That's how you scored, and that's how your game was oriented anyways. Lobs, and threes and some mid ranges. But I don't want you down there banging around because you're not built like that. KD was KD in the post early in his career? Nope.
Now,
he wasn't.
Don't use that.
No,
name.
it's the same build. It's the same build though. It's the same build. It's the same physical build. The same. KD ain't start posting until he got stronger. Just notice it. I'm telling you, if you get draft check, play 5 out. That's how you want to play. 5 out, pace and space offense. That's how you're gonna get the best out of it.
We'll see next year.
Come on, bro. It's Coach Greg. Don't come on, man.
Greg,
I don't
right.
want to talk.
We'll see. That's all.
Side use.
Speaking of next year, NFL has released the schedule, the full schedule for everybody that's watching. What we're going to do, we did the same thing last year. We're going to go by each division, break down the division, give us your predictions. And we're going to say what we think, things we're looking out for, games we're looking forward to seeing, most exciting games this year, all that good stuff. We starting off with the AFC North, which is funny. One of the founding members of the AFC North was not able to make it for tonight's episode. But as they say, the show goes on. He'll probably comment on these posts when we put them up. Starting off, Ravens. Ravens have the 23rd hardest schedule. They start off their season 4 games against the AFC East. How y'all see Ravens season going? What's your predictions on their record?
I think maybe like 12-5, 11-6. I think they're a good team, and this is a big year for Lamar. So I expect him to come out, rolling on all cylinders right now. Because, time is of the essence. He still doesn't have a deal. And, do they roll with him going forward, or do they – I don't know what they're doing, but it just seems like the Ravens are dragging their feet with that whole extension with Lamar. But yeah, this team got better. They improved the defense with a couple picks during the draft. They got Kyle Hamilton late, which was a steal. And they added a couple more pieces on offense. They needed some blocking for Lamar, and I think they got him some help in that aspect because, nobody's really won of late if you're running for your life the whole time. Only the last quarterback I can remember was, Russell Wilson, who hasn't really had an offensive line, and maybe Mahomes, but even Mahomes had a decent line when he won. So I think they're gonna be good. As long as they have Lamar playing, he's going to make enough plays for them to be in all these games and win most of them. So we'll see. But 12-5. That's my prediction.
12-5. I got them at 10-7 this year. Got them at 10-7. Looking at the schedule. Greg, how do you see this going? I say 10-7 because it's still, to me, it's still a huge question mark of what we're doing getting Lamar weapons. Obviously, they're going to be a run-heavy team, and they did a great job getting offensive linemen to give protection when Lamar actually throws it or who he's throwing to.
I think that's fair. I think 11 wins is kind of where I sit. I think we're all kind of in the same place. Even if you say 10-7, I think we're kind of all in the same place. We all know they'll be good. I think what they did in the draft was really important. That Linderbaum was a great pick. They added another offensive lineman too, another big guy, that offensive line. I just don't remember his name, but they went out and got Kyle Hamilton too in the draft. They had a great draft, man. And the Ravens always have a great draft. And so I think that they're going to be better than people kind of expect because of what they've added to the roster. I think those things are going to help them win some ball games. And I agree, the offensive pieces, they need to add help. I know Odell Beckham is still out there. I know he's recovering, but someone's got to get him. He's still out there to be had. Julio Jones is a guy you can take a flyer on. I know he hasn't been the same player, but when you're the Ravens and you need to get him weapons and the draft passes you by and you don't go get weapons, yeah, like it may be time to start looking at these flyer older guys who are really good in their heyday and can be good for you now. And I think that Odell and Julio are two guys you could look at. Jarvis off the market. Jarvis took a 1-year deal to go back to the crib and play with Jameis. Don't really understand it, whatever. But it is what it is. Like I think that they have to look at that those options, free agency, to kind of fill out their roster with the wide receivers. But I think they're going to be good. You know how I feel about Lamar. You know how I feel about him. He's going to do. No one does more with less. He's LeBron of football. He's LeBron of football, kind of in that sense, right? Like that's how he is. I'm serious. It's greatness. It's greatness. I appreciate greatness, bro. But I think that they'll be a good team. 11 wins is kind of where I sit at a minimum with that team. Well coached. Did a great job drafting. Probably had the best draft, honestly. We really look at it and we get over the drugs that we were on that week. I think that they had the best draft. So I think that's probably where I'd sit with it.
Going to the next team, Cleveland Browns. They added, of course, Amari Cooper, brought back David Njoku. They only got 2 primetime games, and you know the reason why they only have 2 primetime games currently is because of Deshaun Cosby and the situation that's still going on with those 22 civil cases. So if everything pans out well for him in his favor, it's expected they're going to have more primetime games. But on the season, with how they have Deshaun Watson, so they have an actual quarterback over Baker Mayfield, I still see, for me, Cleveland, I'm not sold on them. We haven't seen Deshaun in over a year and a half. I say Cleveland goes 9-8 this year.
I was somewhere in 9-10 wins too. If you're missing, Mr. Cosby for a month this year, or Deshaun, for the purposes of people who don't listen every time, we're missing Deshaun Watson for the first month of the season, then yeah, you're looking at some L's right there. But I think they run the ball, and that's kind of the strength of their football team, run and play action. And they got Jacoby Brissett, I think, because they're expecting the suspension, right? So yeah, I think they could win 10 games. This division is going to be crazy. They could. I think at minimum they win 9 games. At most they win 11 games. If things kind of break their way. But Jacoby Brissett is more than capable of winning football games and running the West Coast offense. I think they're going to be a really good team regardless. And
I mean, they still got Baker there too.
That man's going to be gone before the season starts. I think people should expect that. I think he's going to be gone before the season starts. I expect it to go that way. I don't think he'll be there by the time that the ball tips or they, fire up the old pigskin. I think that man will be up out of there. He'll be headed to Carolina where he belongs.
If he goes to Carolina, you already got one person mad, Robbie Anderson. He don't want him there. So that should be an interesting.
Robbie Anderson's not that important.
I mean, looking at the wide receiver core.
I mean, DJ Moore is the important guy.
DJ Moore, and then Robbie Anderson might as well be.
Yes, you better get in line. You over here talking about your quarterback, your guy, you're the face of your franchise.
Hey,
they'll get him up out of there in a second.
That says a lot, though. This man has Sam Darnold, and he's like, nah, I don't want Baker.
Darnold. Yeah.
He has Sam Darnold, and this man said Baker.
If he's going off of what he saw last year, I think that's totally fair. I don't think all the Baker slander is totally fair. I don't feel bad for Baker. Don't get me wrong. I don't feel bad for him at all. But I don't think it's fair that people are talking crazy about him as if he's that, as if he's the player we saw last year. He's not. He was hurt. He was injured. He played through an injury. I really believe that. I think it's true. I think we all know that. So let's stop being lazy and calling Baker ass just because it's fun. So we like to do that. It's fun to make fun of people. It's fun. So we start just running with narratives that aren't true. It's what people did with Daniel Jones. Same thing. It's fun. It's fun to call him ass. I get it. But y'all, it's true. I'm telling you, the Miles said it himself. You can't be good if you're running for your life. I'm just saying. So it's fun to run with the narrative. Everyone's calling him ass. It's fun. Everyone, what people like to do? Kick people when they're down. That's what people are trash by nature. That's what people are. We're not good people. People are not good people out there. Okay. So it's just easier to go, oh, he's ass. Oh, he's ass. He's this. He's that. Okay. All right. Just wait. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Just wait. But Baker won't be as bad if you go somewhere to comment line. He won't.
Miles, you got Cleveland winning 12 games, you said?
I'm gonna say like 8 wins. I think they got to get things acclimated, and I don't think they really improved that much at the receiver position. They lost Jarvis, and I mean Deshaun could miss. I heard between 3 or 4 games. It could be that. It could be 8 or 9. We don't know yet because they haven't come down with the suspension yet. And I don't think Jacoby Brissett's good. He's a solid backup, but he's awful. He's not a good quarterback. So, yeah, he's awful. Why do you think he's bounced around so much? He couldn't beat out Tua. He couldn't beat out Phillip Rivers. He's not good. Huh?
Was he really gonna be that Tua? Was Tua up? Was Tua's jobs ever up for actual grabs, bro? Think about it.
I mean, if he played good,
Tua's not here to stay. I'm just saying.
Well, he's not the man in question. We're talking about Jacoby Brissett, who
you brought up Tua. You brought him up. I'm talking about what you talking about.
I brought him up. My bad. I'm sorry.
You made a fair game.
I'm getting off topic.
Yeah. I don't think he's that bad.
You're right.
Can he hand the ball off? Can he hand the ball off 30 times? I didn't hear what he said. I didn't hear
that way because there's no threat. Jarvis is gone. Odell's gone. Even though last year Baker didn't use any of those guys right. And do we actually believe Jacoby Brissett's a step up from Baker?
I heard Baker last year, maybe.
I don't know.
But what we saw, Baker was throwing bounce passes last year when he had the second half of the season. I think he's probably a step up. I think he's a competent player that can run the offense in a pinch. He's not going to win you a bunch of games. I'm not saying that. But if it's a month suspension, you might split, go 2-2, or you could split and go 2-2 in that time frame. You really could with Jacoby Brissett. You could make it a 2-2 with a competent team. They're a competent football team. They run the ball. They have a really nice offensive system they run there. And they got a great offensive line. Why not? They could win 2 games with Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, they could. They definitely could. The Dolphins weren't competent. They got competent, but they weren't competent all year. They were 1-8. We just seem to forget about it. I'm just saying, like, why not?
I want to touch on that. So what you mentioned, though, right? So let's say it's 4 games. Their first 4 games, by all standards, is pretty easy. They start off at Carolina, which would be wild if Baker does end up in Carolina. He would be possibly playing against them first week. Week 2 against Miles Jets. Week 3 against the Steelers. Week 4, Falcons, which you know is going to be everybody's highlight game, playing against Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Out of those 4 games, you're kind of right. They should be able to go 2-2.
Come on.
Without on.
Just saying, bro. They can go 2-2.
Panthers and Falcons alone should be a guaranteed win. Those 2 right there.
Yeah.
Jets are much.
There's no guaranteed wins in football, but they can go 2-2. They are a competent football team. They can go 2-2 even with Jacoby Brissett because the strength of the team is not throwing the football, is running it.
And the Jets are much improved, so I'm not going to say that's a walk in the park, but
I will leave it. I'll be when I see it. The Jets have to be on a believe and see basis, okay? The Jets. It's like you haven't earned the benefit of the doubt.
You're right.
No. Steelers. I predict, of course, Mike Tomlin's that guy, but they still got to figure out what they're doing at quarterback. Still got to get their quarterback acclimated with that situation. I say they go 8-9 this year.
That's fair. I think 10 wins is their ceiling. 8 wins is kind of where they could end up being with Mitchell Trubisky running them out here. I think hopefully Kenny Pickett's good for their sake. But this could be the first year Mike Tomlin misses the playoff. I think it's the first year Mike Tomlin could miss the playoff. It could be so. It stinks, but they'll be all right. They're used to being really good. I don't feel bad for them, and let's see what happens. I think the defense is going to be great as per usual, but they really have to hope that Kenny Pickett's the guy that they thought he was, and he could be really good. But I have my questions about him playing out there, and we'll see how that goes. But we'll have to wait and see. I think 8 wins is fair. I think 10 wins is best case scenario if defense plays over their head.
Hey, Steelers got 7 games against teams that made the playoffs last year in the 12 schedule. So I think this is the year where Mike gonna be at home, sitting with us on the couch, giving us inspirational speeches because they're not making the playoffs this year.
I'm saying 5-12, 6-11. I'm just looking at the schedule, and I don't think there's too much uncertainty with the quarterback situation. Like, they signed Trubisky, so I thought, all right, he's got a chance. Everybody was talking him up. Then they drafted Kenny Pickett in the first round, which kind of adds a wrench to things because you draft a first round quarterback, albeit it's late in the first round, so he could sit. But there's going to be a lot of talk for the hometown kid to come in and play early on and develop with some of these young guys that they have. So, and there's always a learning curve for the young quarterbacks. So you usually want them to get that out the way earlier in their career so they can learn, they can play, get their warts out while they're still young. And maybe year 2, year 3, they start to take that leap. But I don't know. From what we've seen, Trubisky's not terrible, but it all depends on who's the starting quarterback. If Kenny's the starting quarterback, then it could be a long year. If Trubisky's the starting quarterback, he's a little more polished in the sense of he's been through it in the NFL and he's seen the worst of it and he's had some highs in this league. So this receiving core is still pretty good. They still got Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't think, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. It's a high ask for them to beat the teams that are on the schedule.
Well, if Mac Jones had the success he had year 1,
He was coddled. And that defense was really good.
So let's look at the Steelers. You can coddle that guy. They can treat him like a baby all year, and roll out the most simple playbook ever for him, right? And your defense gonna carry you. Actually, they could do the exact same thing. They got all the recipes there. They could do the Bill Belichick special for Kenny Pickett. So I'm actually a little bit higher now. After hearing you talk about it, I'm higher on him a little bit now because they can do that. They can run the ball with Najee, run him into the ground. They can play action. They can diagnose some easy throws for him in the playbook. Let him cook. He's accurate. He's accurate.
You and KD smoking that same stuff, I guess.
Whatever. I'll smoke whatever KD smoking any day. He's the best player. He's one of the best players in the world. So if he going out there on playing high, shit. Okay.
That's what it is. He be so high, he think his hair is brushed. That's what it is.
I think that explains a lot. The skin, it explains the snake skin he got on his legs. You know, all the nonsense with him.
He's taking that Mamba mentality literally.
Yeah, he is. That man, if that man ever brushes his leg against anything, it's gonna become flammable. Those legs are ashes.
Honestly, I don't think he feels any contact to his legs.
That joke is nuts. That man he needs to take better care of himself, bro. That's nuts. It's not helpful.
Last one, the winner of this division last year, the surprise that made it to the Super Bowl. 5 primetime games, 3 of them on the road. Key additions with Lael Collins, Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, Hayden Hurst. They lost CJ Uzama to the Jets. They lost a couple of wide receivers, but they still are that team because Joe Burrow is really that guy. I'm saying Bengals win this division again. They go 13-4.
As long as they stay healthy, I think as long as they stay healthy, they should be with anywhere from 10 to 13 wins. The offensive line is better. I think it's kind of where I look at them. They're the class of the division, but I think the Ravens could be on their behind. If I'm being honest, the Ravens are going to give them put up a nice fight. I think they're going to worry about the Ravens, and if that Browns can get out to a 2-2 start, and then if you add Deshaun to that mix, it can get real crazy. It's going to be a 3-team race. That division is going to be crazy. It's going to be the hardest division in football, simply put. But the Bengals are a team that should win it. But football is weird. You never really know what's going to happen year to year, especially with injuries and just kind of the way the game works. So, yeah, I say 10. I think 10 is their floor. 13 is the highest they'll go. I think that they're going to be a very good team regardless. As long as Joe and everybody can stay clean and they added to that offensive line, they should be much better. They got Jamar, who's amazing. They'll be fine. They're a Super Bowl type team.
Yeah, I'd say around the same thing, like 12 wins. They're going to be solid, but yeah, like you said, football always comes down to who's healthy at the end of the year. And some of these teams, they make it through, some of these teams don't. And a lot of the predictions go out the window during the season because key players are dealing with injuries all year. So as long as they stay healthy, I mean, they've improved the line and they're bringing all their key players back. So I don't see a reason why they can't repeat as division champions.
I see the Bengals, and we're gonna give our picks once we do every division. We'll give our playoff picks. We'll give our picks of who's going to make it in the wild card, all that good stuff. We got more than enough time to get into that. Football is not here yet. We haven't even had the training camps, preseason, none of that stuff yet. We'll be breaking it down for y'all now, giving y'all super early predictions. You know the vibes, though. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.